All right, welcome everyone. I just wanted to take a minute and say I appreciate you taking the time to be part of this webinar today. As you know, the topic of the presentation today, what we're going to be talking about is how to transform your inner critic into your inner coach. And I think that's so important because so often we go through our lives with this inner voice that just speaks negatively to us and stops us from doing the things that we know we should be doing, that we need to be empowered to do. And so I just want to share how I've been able to use this principle, this success principle, to really make some big strides in my life, to really go from where I was to where I am today. And I can tell you today, I am in a place where I really didn't think it was possible as I was growing up. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my background here in a second. But growing up, I didn't really think that the things that I'm doing today were possible for me. And I've been able to, again, use this principle, which comes from this book right here. If you haven't read it, I strongly recommend it. The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. How to get from where you are to where you want to be. It's just a very, very powerful principle. So, just to get started, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am originally from Puerto Rico, born and raised. I come from a middle class family. My father, he graduated high school, never went to college. My dad started working at a grocery store at the bakery and started working for minimum wage, worked his way up to be director of the store over many, many years. And he worked 50, 60 hours a week, again, worked extremely hard. And while he worked extremely, extremely hard, money was not around often. It wasn't something that was just sitting around that we have plenty of. It wasn't something that was just given around to us. So really, at the end of the day, money was um, a source of conflict. A lot of times, money was a topic of arguments, of emotional discussions, as it is in many, many households. So I just want to tell you where I'm coming from because, again, that's going to really allow you to see that this principle that we're going to be talking about today really, really does make a difference. You know, my parents were divorced. They got divorced when I was 5 years old, and so that affects a child. I know many people that have parents that are divorced, and it's not an easy thing. And I was very, very close to my father, but I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him. And at times, he would even forget to come pick me and my brother up when it was time. Imagine that really affected me as a child. It made a big impression in me because if my father, who is a person who you expect is going to love you no matter what and be there for you no matter what, would sometimes not be there. Again, I thought, maybe there was something wrong with me, and there's all these negative thoughts and negative conversation going on within me, which I later learned, that's not the reality of how it was. My father was fairly young when he got married. He was 20 years old. He was 25 when he got divorced from my mother. So at 25 years old, you're still a kid. I mean, I'm older than that now. So I can't imagine what was going through his mind and the things that he was experiencing at 25 years old. But again, that really, really made a big impact in me and my self image, my self confidence. And I've been able to, over the years, change that inner conversation that I'm having with myself in order to be more supportive. So, about 9 years ago, I started my career in the insurance and financial services business, and I didn't know anyone in my territory. I moved to Huntsville, Alabama back in 2011. And a few months later, I started my career in the insurance business, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any experience in sales in this business. Didn't know anything about insurance investments, and so it was a huge struggle. And as I learned about the products and whatnot, I started getting a little better, but still a big struggle to be successful in the business because it's a tough business. There's a lot of rejection, and you have to go out there every day and get rejected. You have to ask a lot of people to talk to you, to meet with you, and you get a lot of no, 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 no. With my self image, the way it was at the time, which wasn't strong. It wasn't a strong self image. I wasn't very confident at that point in my life. I kept getting no and no and no. And it just reinforced that inner conversation that I was having at the time that, hey, um, you're just not good enough. You're just not good enough. You might not be able to do this the right way. You're not going to be good at this. And so I struggled heavily at the beginning, but then I was able to turn it around. And right now, I've been in the business again about 9 years. And last year, I was number one in life insurance sales in my territory, in our agency. I'm a member of MDRT, which is Million Dollar Roundtable, which is an organization that is for insurance and financial professionals that are in the top 5% of the industry worldwide. I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that by using this principle we're talking about today, I've been able to make this happen. Now, obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, but I just want to share with you that this one principle, transforming your inner critic into your inner coach, played a major role in that transformation. So, how did that happen? There's research that shows that humans, we have about 50,000 plus thoughts per day. That is a lot of thoughts. And for the average person, most of those thoughts are negative. And if you think about where do those thoughts come from, where does that conversation start? And it really is in our subconscious mind, right? It's our inner conversation. It's all about the thoughts that were impressed upon our subconscious mind when we were little, growing up, the way our parents talk to us, what we saw our parents do, the way they talk to each other, the way they talk, that became our inner conversation. Most people are not growing up in environments, in households that are extremely supportive and extremely successful. If you didn't grow up around a lot of successful people that had positive attitudes, positive conversations, then that's not how you were programmed. That's not how you were. So it takes an immense amount of work to be able to change that. And so it all starts with your inner voice, your inner thoughts. I love a quote by James Allen. It says, "You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you." So again, it all starts with our thoughts. All major religions, they all agree that we become what we think about. So it's all about handling our thoughts. Thoughts affect your body, your feelings, the way that you feel. It all starts with your thoughts, right? So that's why when somebody's put through a lie detector, right? How do they know if that person's lying? It affects your body. If you're lying, you might start breathing shallow. Your blood pressure might go up. Your hands may get sweaty. I mean, your body changes, and so that's how they know. If negative thoughts can affect your body in a negative way, then can we agree that then you can also change your body in a positive way by thinking positive thoughts? I mean, it really is that simple. It just doesn't come natural to most people, it doesn't come natural to most of us. And so at the end of the day, we have to spend a lot of time because research shows that about 5% of what we do on a daily basis, we do it consciously, which means that we think about it, we make a decision, and we go do it. About 95% of everything that we do every day, it's automatic. We're on autopilot. We're programmed to do the things that we do, right? So we wake up, we brush our teeth, we take a shower, we get ready, we drive to work, we get the kids ready. Whatever it is that you do, you're in such a habit, you're in such a routine that you don't really even have to think about it. You just go and go and go. And sometimes you might drive to work and you get there and you're like, man, I don't even remember the drive here, right? Because you were on autopilot. Your mind was somewhere else. Your body was doing it, but your mind was somewhere else. It happens often. It happens to me, right? So we have to become conscious. We have to take full control of what we're thinking about. We have to take full control of our actions. It all starts with our thoughts. A lot of people talk about doing positive affirmations, and positive affirmations are great if you do it correctly. And what I mean by that is you have to really not just take 5 minutes in the morning and say, I am so happy and grateful that I am successful. I am so happy and grateful that I am wealthy. I am so happy and grateful that I have a great marriage. I'm so happy and grateful that I have a great relationship with my kids. Like, those are good affirmations, but you have to really get in the habit of doing those affirmations with emotion, with feeling. You have to get it into your nervous system, into your subconscious mind, that that's really how you feel. You want to be able to think about your business or your career and feel good about it, right? If when you think about your career, the first thought that comes to mind, the first feeling is negative, is stress. Again, you know you're not there. You know you have some more work to do, and the work never stops because it it's something that you have to continually keep working on. Uh, when you think about an athlete, do they get to a certain level one year and they're like, you know what, I was the best player in the league this year, so I arrive. I don't have to do anything else. No, they have to continue practicing. They have to continue doing the things that they do, and they have to continue working on their mind, on their talent, on their skills. It's something that is never ending. So it's the same with your mind. Our mind is the most powerful apparatus that we have. It's really something that most people don't even think about. But at the end of the day, what kind of feelings are affecting your daily life? What kind of thoughts are triggering those feelings? If I don't care how much success you have with your business, with your career, with your money, if your emotions on a daily basis are negative, you're having a negative quality of life. That's what it comes down to. So it's all about the quality of your life, which your quality of your life is based on the quality of your emotions. So if your automatic thoughts, your subconscious thoughts trigger a negative feeling on a daily basis, whether it's stress, fear, anxiety, um, unhappiness, depression, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how much you have accomplished with your business and career. Because if you don't feel good about yourself, is that success? I don't think so. So something that I want you to do, quick exercise. I'm just going to give you a minute or two. Think about some thoughts that you've had over the years that you have on a regular basis that you maybe not consciously, but if you think about, like, whenever you think about a big goal that you will have for your that you would like to set for yourself. We all have these big dreams, these big desires that we want to create, that we want to hit, that we want to manifest. And if we don't become conscious about it and put it on paper and look at it every day and believe that it's possible, and then believe that it's possible for us, and we need to believe in ourselves. If we don't, then that's never going to happen. So I want you to think about what's a big goal that you have, something that you've desired for many, many years that you may have not taken action on. Why haven't you taken action toward that? There's a reason. There's a reason why you haven't taken action. And for most of us, the reason why we put off taking action toward the things that we want is because we associate more pain with the thought of taking that action than the pleasure we associate with it for what we think the end result is going to be, right? So, for example, let's say that I want to get in great physical shape and I'm overweight and I really want to exercise, and I know that I should exercise and I know that that's something that I need to do in order to achieve my goal, but I'm not doing it. So why is that? If that's the case, why am I not doing the thing that I know I need to do, the thing that I say I want to do? It really comes down to, within my nervous system, within my subconscious mind, I am associating more pain with the idea of exercising and eating right or whatever it may be than with the idea of being healthy and feeling good and having great energy, right? So put it down on paper. Like, what are some things that are stopping you, some thoughts that you're having that are not allowing you to move toward what you want? So you may want to start a business. Why haven't you started a business? For most people, is fear of failure. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of being judged by others. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of, well, what if I try and I don't make it? And there goes the whole story of he had or she has so much potential, right? There are so many negative thoughts going through our minds that in reality they don't really have a lot of weight to them, right? If you get to write it down and you get to work on it, you'll be able to start creating a new mindset consciously, and you'll start moving in the direction of what you want. Think about the things that you're not doing. Again, I'm going back to that. Think about the things that you're not doing that you know you should do, that you say you want to do, but you're not doing, whether that's making more calls for your business or career, you're calling on prospects, you're trying to get some new clients, you're trying to get started with a YouTube channel, or you want to do some Facebook Live, whatever it is that you would like to do and you're not doing, what are you getting by not doing it? Right? It could be that you're comfortable. It could be that, hey, I'm not having to put myself out there. I'm not getting outside of my comfort zone. So it might feel comfortable. So that might be immediate pleasure that you get, because it could be painful to put yourself out there and be rejected. Right. But something that has helped me over the years is to use the rocking chair exercise. And what I mean by that, I think I heard this from Tony Robbins. And what he said was, imagine yourself at 85 years old and you are in a rocking chair and you're looking back, thinking about your life, and you imagine that you took this big leap that you say you want to do, but you're afraid of. Imagine that you did that, but you failed. Imagine the worst case scenario. Let's say that you failed. Will you still be satisfied with yourself because you took that risk, right? You wouldn't have a regret. But if you don't take that risk, now you live with that regret for the rest of your life, and you're going to be not as confident. That's going to affect your self image. That's going to affect your self confidence. I would encourage you to take that risk. It is better to try and fail than not try at all. I actually believe that not trying is the ultimate failure, right? Because you're failing without even trying, without even giving yourself a shot, without even giving yourself a chance. I think you really need to give yourself that chance. You owe it to yourself. You know, we all want to get better. We all want to give more. And we're limiting ourselves. We're giving less than what we're capable of because we're so afraid. We're limited by our thoughts. We're afraid of what he's going to say, what she's going to say. What is my boss going to think? Again, like, you need to be obsessed and focused on your goals. I want you to think about transforming your inner critic into your inner coach. What are some characteristics of a good coach? I played baseball growing up. I play a little bit of basketball and volleyball every now and then, but really baseball was my sport. And that's what I played for most of my career. And I had different coaches. Some of them were okay, some of them were good, some of them were not so good. And there were a few that were great, right? So when you think about coaches that are great coaches, what are some of the characteristics that you think about when it comes to a great coach, right? So if you want to top it out in the chat, again, just let me know, what are some characteristics that you've had of a good coach that has made a big impression in your life, that has made a big difference in your life or the life of others, or someone that you know. It could be not directly tied to you, right? It could be like, hey, it was Phil Jackson in the NBA. You know, he managed Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and he took each of them to many, many championships, right? So again, it could be someone that you know of that did great work. I see here, they let you fail, but not to be a failure. That is powerful. That is powerful. That's exactly right. Because if you think about it, great coaches give you the opportunity to fail, right? Because if they don't make it okay for you to fail, then how are you going to take the actions that you need to take in order to have the success that you want to have and that you need to have? Failure is an event, it's not a person, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. I've heard that many, many times. Failure is an event, it's not a person. Just because you try something, it doesn't work, doesn't mean that it was a failure. You learn something. Now you can go about it a different way and you can go and do a different thing. So, really, it's all about understanding that failure is a step toward your success. And again, that's part of being a great inner coach. I believe that a great coach expects more of you than you expect of yourself sometimes, right? Not all the time. Some people have extremely high standards, and there's no way somebody else can have higher standards for them. But for most people, their coach is someone who presents and holds a higher standard and holds them accountable to that higher standard. You know, if If I say, hey, I'm going to try to run 2 miles today, right? I might run, I might push myself, and I'll say, well, I did as good as I could. But maybe, just maybe, I'm just throwing this out there. If I had a personal trainer timing my 2 miles, right? And I knew that that person was watching and they were going to really push me, like, could they get another 10, 20 seconds, a minute or two out of me? Possibly, right? In most cases, that is the case. In most cases, a coach will help pulls the greatness out of you that you weren't able to do on your own. Because again, a coach gives you a different perspective. So in this situation, we're talking about you becoming your own coach, right? You don't have to wait for somebody else out there to coach you. You don't have to wait for somebody else out there to give you the empowerment and the positive affirmations that you need. Do that for yourself. Do that for yourself, right? And I don't think that a great coach is someone who, if you're struggling with your mindset, let's say you're having a negative day and you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, I don't want to do this, whatnot. A great coach pushes you, right? So you want to be able to push yourself. You want to be able to train your mind that, hey, I don't negotiate. If I say that I'm going to make 10 calls a day, or if I say that I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes at least 5 days a week, I don't negotiate. So if I'm working out Monday to Friday for 30 minutes at least, then Wednesday may come around and I may not feel like it, right? You have to train yourself. That inner voice, your self-image has to be like, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm gonna get it done. Because that's where discipline comes in, that's where your self-confidence comes in, right? How many times have you really not felt like doing something? Let's say you're a manager and you're like, oh my gosh, they told me I need to fire someone. I really don't want to do it, really don't want to do it. In your mind, you're making it such a bad thing, and you finally do it. And it feels such a relief. And now you feel better about yourself, not because you fire someone, that's not necessarily a great thing to do, but because you did something that was difficult for you. You did something that you thought wasn't easy. And when we do things that we think are not easy, and when we do things on days that we don't feel like doing them, we feel much stronger about ourselves. We feel so much better about ourselves. So I want to encourage you to think about those great coaches. What do they do? Again, they set high standards for you. So you need to set high standards for yourself. Again, you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do, whether you feel like doing them or not. Okay. That is what's going to allow you to truly have success in all areas of your life. I believe that one of the prerequisites of success is discipline. And discipline is nothing more than the ability to give yourself a command and following through with it. The ability to give yourself a command and then do it. Not hesitating, not holding back, not procrastinating. Is saying, here's what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it no matter what. Whether I'm going to get rejected, whether I'm going to get criticized, whether I'm going to get judged, whether I'm tired, whether something else came up, right? You find a way to do what you say you're going to do. Think about those bad coaches, right? Which most people, including myself, at the beginning of my career, the first part of my career, I was a horrible coach to myself, right? And why I say that is I wasn't a great communicator. And I think that's the biggest difference between you being your own inner negative critic or you being a great inner coach. I think it's just your communication. So, being a great communicator is going to allow you to be a great coach to yourself. Early in my career, I would not schedule the appointments that I needed to, that I said I would do. I didn't make the calls that I knew I needed to make. Internally, I would just feel negatively about myself and I would just be negative. I would say, oh, Kevin, you're so lazy. Kevin, you know better. What are you thinking? You don't deserve to win. You don't deserve to be successful because you don't do what you say you're going to do. Like, it's all negative. It's all negative. And while some people may be pushed and motivated by that negative conversation, that is not going to motivate most people and help them be successful and empowered in the long term. So instead of just saying the first part of the equation of I'm angry at you, Kevin, because you're being lazy, you're not doing what you know you should be doing, right? Be a full communicator. And based on these success principles again, uh, from Jack Canfield, he says there are four steps in being a great inner coach and being having a good conversation with yourself. And it's okay to start with the anger, like, hey, Kevin, like, better, you should be doing better. So that's the anger part. The second part is fear, which that's where the anger comes from. Fear. Kevin, I'm afraid that if you don't make those calls, you're not going to be able to fulfill your destiny, your goals. You're not going to be able to do the things that you want to do. I'm afraid that you're not going to have the life that you want to have and you're going to feel bad about yourself. So that's the second one. Acknowledge where that anger came from, which is that fear, and communicate it with yourself. Growing up, I used to think that people who talk to themselves were crazy. That's how I was brought up. Somebody would say, hey, man, that person talks to themselves, they're crazy. Now I know that those are the same people. Same people are the ones that talk to themselves, that they take control of their conversations or their thoughts. So anger, fear are the first two steps. Then request. So anger, Kevin, I am so mad at you. You didn't make the calls that you knew you should make. Um, Fear, I'm afraid that if you don't make those calls, you're not going to become the best version of yourself that you say you want to be. I'm afraid that if you don't do it, you're not going to fulfill your goals and desires. Then it's request number three. I want you to make those calls every day. I want you to schedule the first hour of your day to take care of that, just so that you can focus on that and not have that hanging over you for the rest of the day. I want you to create a list of the people that you're going to call the night before so that you're ready and you're not having to do that in the morning, so that you're ready, right? So then you have the request. And then the last step is love, right? Kevin, I am being tough on you because I love you. I want to see you succeed. I care about you. And I want you to be able to live the life that you deserve. Think about all those great coaches that we've had over the years. They were tough on us, which is the anger, the fear part, but they were great coaches and they made a great difference and a great influence over our lives because they made specific requests based on their knowledge and expertise, and they loved or care about you. They care about us. They wanted to see us succeed. They care about our end result, our life, not just a number or a statistic, whatnot. They really care about you. So if you want to be able to transform your inner critic into your great inner coach, that's what you have to do. You have to tell yourself the whole story every time, every day. Set high standards for yourself. Hold yourself accountable to those. Do the things every day that you say you're going to do, whether you feel like it or not. And day after day of doing that, you build that discipline muscle. And one day, a month, 2 months, 3 months from now, you no longer have to push you because it has become a habit. There, I appreciate everyone for joining. I hope you got a lot out of this. I know that this has been it's a great lesson for me. I truly believe that if you take this information and you apply to all areas of your life, finances, family, marriage, relationships, uh, friendships, spiritual life, health, you take this information and you apply to all those areas of your life, there is no reason why you can't have a massive, massive, massive difference in your results in a short 6 to 12 months from now. And I say, sure, some people want everything done like today, tomorrow. But again, it took you a long time, many, many years to create that negative inner critic within you. So it doesn't happen overnight to change it, but you work at it every day, little by little, and over time you build that muscle, and over time your mindset is going to be shifted so that instead of you coming against a challenge right now and thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way to do it, because that's how you've been thinking and being programmed for many years. 6 months from now, you might encounter the same challenge, but that inner coach is going to tell you, you got this. You know, you can do it because you've done the tough things, things that you didn't think you could do. You did them. And that will encourage you, that will empower you, and that will get you to do all the things that you thought were difficult, that were maybe impossible. And over time, those hard things that you're doing become even harder and harder and harder in terms of the things that you're accomplishing. You're accomplishing things that are way harder than you thought you could handle. And over time, you're going to have such great success in all areas of your life that you're going to look back and not even recognize the person that you were today, because you're going to be so different 6 to 12 months from now. If you have any questions, you have a sales team or a team of people that you will want us to do some webinars for, we will be more than glad to do it. We're all about helping people be successful, be as successful as they can be, so that they can accomplish their goals, live the life of their dreams, live the life that they want to be. Because I truly believe that we were put in this earth to truly maximize our potential. We have unlimited potential, and everyone deserves to eliminate the negative beliefs, the limited thinking that is holding them back. So if there's anything that we can do to help you overcome those limiting beliefs and help you achieve those goals that you may think are impossible, reach out to us. Thank you all. Have a great day.